Are you feeling like you're being left behind? Are you in a hurry to be successful? Do you get dejected when things don't go your way? Me too. Today I want to talk to you about how we deal when we feel like we're being left behind. Hello and welcome, my name is Brendan, I'm a recovering accountant based here in London, and on this channel I help millennials navigate busy lives and make sure that work doesn't suck. So today we're going to talk about a subject that I've really battled with, certainly over the last few years, and that is how not to feel like you're being left behind by those around you who are being incredibly successful. I'm sure it's something that we can all identify with, and without further ado, let's dive in. In today's fast-paced world, we are all in a hurry. In the age of instant gratification that we're in, due to the way that technology has increased the speed at which information travels, we are all in a hurry to get to where we want to be. I'm no exception. I want to strive to succeed and break into the highest levels of management possible. But I want to do it tomorrow. But that isn't actually possible, so how do we cope? We get dejected when things don't go our way. When results are not achieved instantly, it's easy. It's a race and we feel like we're being left behind. The age of achievement has decreased. 15-year-olds are developing apps and selling websites for multi-million pound deals. By the time you're 25, you could own your own company, be an accomplished musician. You could have traveled the world. People are doing too much in too little time, and it puts the pressure on the rest of us. It's actually scaring the hell out of us. If you're in your mid to late 30s or even early 40s, and you feel like you're still slogging out the 9 to 5, and others are striving to succeed and are already there, especially those younger than you, it can make you feel terrible. The pangs and anxiety, the worry, the doubt is like, should I be doing more? What happened? First thing we need to do is take a deep breath. Relax, don't compare yourself with others. Unless you've had exactly the same opportunity at exactly the same moment using exactly the same things, you're never going to have exactly the same output. So please, stop comparing yourself. The world is full of all kinds of people. Those who are successful early in life and those that are late bloomers. There are those that get married at 25 and divorced by 30, and there are those that then find love at 40, never to be apart again. Take Henry Ford, for example. He was 45 when he invented the Model T. Mike Balfour, a Fitness First founder, was also one of those that found success later in life, only to go on and create one of the world's most successful commercial gym chains. There is hope for all of us yet. Everybody works in their own time zone. People have things worked out to their own pace. Your colleagues, friends, the younger ones around might seem like they're getting ahead of you. Maybe some might even feel like they're behind you. We're all running this race at our own pace. God has a different plan for everybody. Time is the difference. Think about it. Obama retires at 55. Trump resumes post 70. We can't envy them or mock them. It's their time zone. As a result, you are in yours. You are unique. You need to remember that. You are unique. Please don't compare yourself to others. It is a one-way street to a world of trouble, and all it will do is mess with your head and it will give you anxiety. Someone became a CEO at 25 and died at 50, while another could become CEO at 50 and live well into their 90s. We are all on our own path, which reminds me, when I was working in South Africa as a GAP student just after leaving school, we were driving along the highway and I was on my way to Four Ways Mall, and I saw a billboard up on the highway that said, if there's no path, create your own. And it stuck with me. I mean, I was a very impressionable 18-year-old kid, and I thought I knew everything, and really, you know, 4/5 of bugger all when you're growing up. And so that really stuck with me. If there's no path, create your own. It doesn't have to be the path well trodden. It doesn't have to be the one that everybody else is taking. You're unique. If you want to make a change and go in a completely different direction, that's up to you. It's harder to do when everybody else is going in the same way, much in the same way I guess salmon feel like that when they're in rivers going upstream and everybody else is going downstream. Not really sure that analogy works, but you know what I mean. It's going against the tide. Especially as you get older and you feel like you haven't achieved as much as you would like. Especially when you see those around you and those that maybe were a bit later in their career becoming chief executives or being promoted or being very famous or successful or whatever it might be. What's on the outside doesn't necessarily reflect the trouble and the strife and the pain and the effort and the hard work that they've put in behind the scenes. In much the same way An overnight success is often many, many years in the making. Comparing yourself to others is a very futile exercise, in my opinion. I've learned this the hard way. I've taken 2 career breaks, and there's a moment in one of them when I was sat on a Monday morning having a coffee, talking to a friend of mine around a potential venture that we were looking at, and I sat there and thought, okay, I'm now no longer in the rat race, which means that I'm not searching for the next promotion. But what about my friends around me? What about those that are getting the promotion and they're earning a good paycheck and they're being able to go on holiday, and I'm sat here going, actually, I don't know where the next paycheck is coming from because I've stepped out on my own. That really begins to worry. Are you going to become a stay-at-home dad? Well, that's not very common. What will other people think? Actually, stuff what other people think. That's not the point. You are unique. I sat there and I had to give myself a bit of a pep talk to say you are on your own path. You have the luxury of time at the moment, and that was one of the best things I ever took out of my career break. But if you start to compare yourself with others, it's a really, really dangerous game, and I genuinely don't think any good comes from it. By all means, use people to aspire to. Johnny Wilkinson is 3 months younger than I am, and he won the World Cup by the age of whatever it was, 23. Yeah, I kind of underachieved in comparison to that. But conversely, I'm on my own path. It's easy to compare yourself, but please don't do it. I mean, let me tell you a quick story. You wake up on a Monday morning knowing you have more time to spend as you wish. For me, it was reading and learning after getting a sweat on at the gym. I would make myself get up and keep in a routine to stay focused and try not to become lazy. Who doesn't love a lazy day binging on Netflix? Actually, on that point, if you do have the opportunity to check out the series Devils, the first series is excellent. Patrick Dempsey, I really, really recommend it. It's a bit up there with the Margin Call movie, which Jeremy Irons is unbelievably good in, and Industry on BBC, so please do check out those. But the point is, you can't always spend every day binging on Netflix. Whilst I was pursuing one of my own startup adventures, the chimp on my shoulder, according to Stephen Peters in The Chimp Paradox, was just snoring away at me, whispering in my ear, "You're falling behind." Shit, don't want to fall behind. I would look around and I would see nothing but success by those around me. But what about me? I thought it was okay, but it turns out it wasn't. It's harder than you think to see old colleagues, friends, peers, those around you continue to earn more, be more successful, obtain more things. Better car, bigger house, more disposable income, the latest iPad Pro, whatever it might be. When you don't have the income or opportunity, or the successes that you want, I had to make a decision. Accept my own path or play by somebody else's. It's a really cheesy phrase, and it's quite easy to say but hard to do. And even now, it just makes the heart beat that little bit quicker because it's the tough answer to give. Do you want to play by your own rules, or are you happy rocking out to the beat of your own tune? Are you happy to play by your own rules, or are you going to follow the path that others have forged? The allure of money is strong when you don't have much. This is why it needs to be your decision and nobody else's. But I did a lot of thinking, and I committed. I committed to my own path, to continue what I started. It wasn't easy, and I battled with a lot of self-doubt, uncertainty and anxiety. I made it. I made it, whatever it is. It is for me. It's personal to me. It's not for anybody else. Measuring yourself against others is a futile exercise. Unless you've had exactly the same experience, with exactly the same opportunities, with exactly the same time frames, it will not be the same outcome. Early success doesn't mean a happy life either. You could open a company at 25 and it could be dissolved by the time you're 30. You could find success at 40, only to be better equipped to deal with those opportunities a little bit later in life. Maybe that lost job or the one that you left most recently wasn't the right answer. Maybe you are meant for better things. There is no right time at the end of the day. When it doesn't happen for you, it means it's not supposed to happen right now. There's no point worrying yourself sick and envying anybody else. So what was the takeaway for me, and what I'd like to pass on to you, is spend your time creating your personality, acquiring new skills, learning a new language. Create the person you want to be in the future. The simple way to describe this is plan for where you want to be, not for where you are. I was told this way back when I think I was training as an accountant, and it was the first time I really forayed into the city, and I'd had this first grown-up job, and I thought, what am I going to wear? Obviously you have to go in the suit and tie, and you have to conform to the relevant standards, but one of the colleagues that I got to know really rather well said, you want to dress for where you are, not for where you want to be. I thought, what are you going on about? But then you realise, if you project where you want to be and you start working towards that and you imagine your future self there, why not start dressing that way? In much the same way as putting on a well-fitting jacket makes you feel superhuman, and it gives you that sort of pride, that even the goosebumps on my arms, because it just makes you feel good. Create the path that leads you to where you want to be, not to where you are now. Create the personality that will match the success that you want. Work on your brand. What do you want to be known for? Remember, experts are generally just one step ahead of you. They don't always have the answers. They're just a little bit further down the path than you are, which is why they're telling you exactly what you want to hear. Work towards your goal at your own pace. Everybody has their own timeline, so why don't you decide yours? Keep putting yourself out there. Keep striving for the opportunities. The moment you stop having conversations or trying to get to where you want to be, that's when the opportunities stop. I remember when I was very keen to get into the data space, I knew that I could talk the language of a chief data officer, and I wrote a number of articles about it, and I kept putting myself out there, and I actually wish I'd created my own or started my own coffee shop, because it would probably have saved me a small fortune. But I knew that the moment I stopped having the conversations, and probably the next conversation was the one time that conversation would lead to an opportunity that would get me to where I wanted to be. So I had to keep doing it. Even the days where I just didn't want to keep talking, and I'd just been rejected and it just wasn't working, and I was beating myself up, and I was like, I'm not good enough. I know what I'm talking about, but nobody will give me the opportunity. Keep going, because the one time you stop is the one time you have the opportunity to make a difference. If today is not your day, it could be tomorrow. Don't stop living your life just because it's not happening. We all suffer fear and uncertainty and anxiety and self-doubt, but it's what we do with it that matters. I'm getting better because I've been through counselling and therapists to understand how you deal with that, and you can either let worry take over your life or you can try and control it, but it's actually about having a mechanism to do so. But that's all part of me trying to succeed. I genuinely believe that I'm here to help people, and that's why I started this channel. But it's not easy, because what happens if nobody watches the video? What happens if I put all this time and effort in and I feel like I'm giving out these knowledge bombs and then nobody watches it? That hurts. It's rubbish, to be quite honest. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't stop trying. And that's it. That's the approach that I take when I'm feeling like I'm being left behind. If you found this video useful, please do check out this video here where I talk about how I quit my job with nothing to go to because I hated the Sunday evening blues and didn't believe that hating your job was worth it. I think you might find it quite insightful, but with that, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you all in the next video. Cheers.